Good morning and welcome to another in the Veterans Forum interview program. For those of you who do not know, this is a project we have here at the studio where we invited all guys and gals who served anywhere in any war, in any branch, if they will, to share those memories with us. As you know, if you've seen some of the earlier shows, each one was unique and unto itself, although we all had the same general cause. Today is the 16th of April, 2010. We're here at the studio. I'm your host, Bob Stevens, and it's my pleasure today to welcome another fellow who helped make history. I'll ask him to introduce himself, take some basic data, if you will, and then we'll take the show from there. Wayne, you're on, and we welcome you. If you would, tell us who you are, spell your last name, where you now live to start with.
Well, thank you, Bob. Wayne Walton, W-A-L-T-O-N. I live in Hinsdale, Mass.
What branch of the service were you in?
US Navy.
Just the Navy or the?
Navy Seabees.
I've been waiting for 2 years to have some guy with that hat on. I admit to a prejudice. What I'd like to do is to build a little history, if you will. Starting, if you will, where and when were you born and your family life growing up before you went in the service? High school activities and so forth, anything special? Were you working before you went in the service? And of your family members in service at all times? It's rattled, but it's all yours to say whether you will.
All right, I was born in Pittsfield, Mass. in 1949. Went to Center School, went to Nessicus, and finally to Wacona Regional High School. Brought into the service through a friend of mine who was a submariner, then turned to the Navy Seabees. Longtime friend, Robert Bartlett. A lot of people would probably know him. He used to be the town clerk in Dalton, Mass. He talked me into going into the Navy, which I started on the fleet and transferred to the Seabees. Kind of unusual. I did boot camp between my junior and senior year, which was kind of...
Still in school?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't want to waste any time.
Didn't want to waste any time. And I became a member of the reserve unit here in Ben Hedbert Boulevard in Pittsfield. And lo and behold, graduated, and it wasn't probably 45 or 60 days that the battalion got called up. So I was off to active duty.
Didn't take long, huh?
No, it didn't take long at all.
Now, when you say active duty, I'd like to go back a little bit. And when you went in the service, the classic, how was boot camp? What was good, what was bad, what you didn't like, what you did like? How was the transition from being a civilian to a CB or whatever?
Well, boot camp was an experience, and I talked to a lot of people that went to boot camp, so I knew what I was going for. Mm-hmm. Staying up all night and watching the garbage container and crazy things that they made us do. But food wasn't bad. We had a great time in Great Lakes. So.
Great Lakes.
Great Lakes.
Now, when you were in the Bees, did you then transfer to a CB base per se, like Hueneme, Davisville, Oxnard?
We went right to Gulfport, Mississippi.
Was that your POE, or did you train down at Gulfport?
We trained at Gulfport.
Okay, and what did you do? What was your MOS?
I was an equipment operator.
Okay. Heavy equipment, crane, bulldozer, CAT scanner,
everything.
Anything? Okay.
Everything.
Okay, good. Now, you left where? Gulfport? Was that your POE, or did you ship out of Hueneme?
No, we left right from Gulfport.
How'd you go through the canal?
No, we flew.
Oh.
We flew from Gulfport, Mississippi to Anchorage, Alaska down to Japan, and Japan into Da Nang Airport.
Okay, so we spent most of your time then overseas in Vietnam?
Yes.
Okay. What were your duties there? What was it like? We've heard all kinds of stories. What's your take of the elephant?
It was 14 months, hot, wet, long, good days, bad days. They had us doing everything. I went on what they call the advanced party. I went 30 days early to help unload the ship. And I got to stay 30 days later to help them put everything back. So I was there actually 14 months rather than the 1 year.
And just what did you do in that time frame?
I did everything. I drove truck.
No, I mean as far as any specific construction jobs or anything like that.
Yeah, we did Deepwater Pier in Da Nang. We did the bridge ramp in Da Nang. Actually, I went up to Phu Bai. We did soil cement up there to stabilize the soil. I went to Chu Lai up to the DMZ to run a rock crusher. Worked at Mag 16 in Da Nang. I was.
What, Mag 6 Marine Air Group? Is that
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because the acronyms are going to kind of spell them out.
Yeah.
Anything specific happened over there that was it good, bad, or other? Were you under attacks at any all time?
No, we were where Camp Adnar was. We were the Da Nang River Delta was on one side. We were in the middle, and Mag 16 was on the opposite side. So it was almost every night the rockets came over, but one would fall short once in a while in our camp. But nobody ever got hurt in our camp from that.
That's good. That's damn good.
And we were there during the '68 Tet, which was they kept us confined to the camp for 3 days. We couldn't go out.
Now, were you ever if you were put on the line with all your great, I'll call it soldier or sailor training, as far as being a rifleman,
No,
like that?
no. Fortunately, our battalion was very lucky. We had a Marine group with us that did all the security for us.
Good.
In fact, out of 550 guys, we only lost one guy, and that was a Sunday afternoon drowning in the South China Sea. We had a lot of guys, landmines, wounded, but we only had one actual death in our whole battalion.
Now, that was long before, like they have today, these roadside bombs and so forth. You didn't have that problem. Did you have to work through minefields at all?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
How was that?
It was nerve-wracking. US 1 going south, we had several scrapers that were hit by mines.
Nobody hurt?
Oh, yeah. You know, broken limbs.
Okay, but they didn't have a fatality.
No, we didn't have any fatalities other than one
That's good.
drowning.
Now, while you're there, did you have any, shall we say, fraternization with any of the native population, or were you strictly not?
Bob, that's very interesting, and this could get into a long story.
We got the time.
Yeah. There was a group there, some nuns ran an orphanage, and we used to bring extra food that we had over to the orphanage. And it made the papers. In fact, I don't have the pictures with me here, but it did make the papers all over the United States, what we were doing for those people. And in the year 2000, myself and another gentleman went back to Da Nang. Well, we did the whole country in a tour. And one of our main things was to go to that orphanage if it was still there. So we backpacked Tootsie Rolls, lollipops, paper, pens, pencils, anything for
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. And on our second day of investigating around, our contacts we finally made, and believe it or not, the two nuns that were there in 1968 and 1969 were still there.
Alive and kicking.
And alive and kicking, very old. They had been moved all over Vietnam in Da Nang. But we had the old pictures, they had the old pictures, and we spent a whole day there with them and the kids.
Must have been a tearjerker.
It was really something. But when you asked if we interacted, yes, we interacted for a long time.
That's one of the things that, as you say, does make the press, but not too often. It's always the blood and gory stuff. But
exactly.
The stuff, the humane stuff, I think is what we're trying to bring out. A lot of guys and gals did that. Now, I've heard of guys that actually would take their own rations. And he said, well, I'm on a new diet.
Yeah.
You wrap it up and leave it alongside the road and stuff like that, so that the people could get it. Now, what prompted that trip back? You just wanted to find out what it was all about, what it looked like again?
You know, we talked to a gal named Martha Green. crossed your path. She was a nurse over there, and she went back several times, and she lived in North Adams, and
Yeah.
we kind of made a contact. And Carl Wright, the fellow I went with, we talked to her several times. We just got interested, and it was our 40th, going to be our 40th anniversary, so we decided to go.
Good.
So we spent 15 days traveling the whole country.
Now, you had your own guide, or you with a group or anything
No,
like
we
that?
had our own guide. We didn't want to go with anybody. We wanted to go where we wanted to and do what
When
we
you
wanted to.
yeah.
And it was
Great.
very, very interesting. We got to visit with the MIA officers and got all the updates on the MIAs.
Tell us about that.
Very interesting. We got to see the films that Carrie had just seen prior to us getting there, and all the updated. And after the discussion and talking to the fella, come to find out the lieutenant in charge lived in Pittsfield, Mass.
Oh.
So it was, he didn't live there now, but he did in his younger days down by Nichols store. So that was interesting. Then we met with the ambassador. Also, while we were there, we took our chances that he would see us, and that was also interesting.
VIP treatment?
Yes, it was VIP treatment.
Good. Pays off.
It was interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to be nosy, but I'd like to go back a bit, like we talked before, to your shall we say, your childhood prior to getting in. We were talking that you said your dad, for example, was in World War II. Any other relatives?
My father was in Navy and was on a minesweeper, Purple Heart, several other medals. My older brother was in the Air Force. He did a stint in Thailand during the Vietnam War.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
The history that goes on. Now, are they around and alive? That could we possibly get them to come and do a show?
My father's dead. My
to
brother's
hear that.
still here, and he lives in Hinsdale also.
Put the B on them.
Yeah.
The B. Oh, that. I'm sorry. When you got through your stint and you came back home, how was your reception?
The reception in Dalton was like I had never left.
Oh,
Nobody seemed to care.
make you
nobody
feel good or
discussed it.
bad?
No, it was
Okay.
just, you're back. Oh,
Okay, that was it.
that was it.
That's the best part about it now.
Yeah.
Now, have you joined any of the organizations like VFW, the Legion, DAB, what have you?
I belong to the Legion, Dalton Legion, and Dalton VFW.
Are you active?
Not as active as I should be, but as I get older, I intend to be more active.
Well, good. Keep going. I understand, though, that you've been pretty active in and around town and doing a lot of good things that, on the quiet.
Yeah, I do that.
Makes you feel good?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. Now, dumb question, but I mean it. What's your assessment or your opinion of your service life? How did it or did it not affect your life? Was it positive or negative?
I feel it's very positive, and I recommended it to a lot of people that the service doesn't hurt anybody. It's a good experience.
Any particular reason why?
It's just a change of life.
Okay.
I mean, I know a lot of, we all know a lot of servicemen that wouldn't say that because they've been through worse times than I had to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. The as we talked about earlier, there's another program on right now for Vietnam guys called the Big Read. Have you heard about it? You want to take part in it, or haven't you been asked to?
I haven't been asked to. If I was asked, I probably would, on a low profile.
I'll sneak around and try and get you some low profile
Yeah.
without putting you on the spot. Trying to figure what's the best way to. I want to introduce something that it's a very false statement that Seabees borrow things unattended. This young gentleman salvaged and saved for posterity a souvenir. It's slightly big. I'd like to show it to you right now so you get some idea what's going on in the back of us. You ready?
Yeah.
We may have to be careful getting up with these silly mics, but I'll give you one side.
We'll probably have it upside down.
Probably. No, here we go. Okay. It's a little frayed in the edges, folks. But that's a pretty good sized souvenir. Can you see that? We thank you for salvaging it. You got them? There should be, what, 6 folds and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're not going to make 6 folds, though.
Okay, well, we'll do it easy. It'll go back. Okay. Now, what else you have in here? A little souvenirs.
There's some
I know, little
pictures.
pictures and that kind of stuff. It all adds to the show, if you will.
I mean, I don't know how you can see them because a lot of them are.
Well, just flip a few. The boys are pretty good with the camera. I tell you what, I'll be the holder and you can be the talker. How's that?
There's a cruise book.
Hmm?
I haven't got my glasses, so.
Okay. Well, I got to hold them out. How's the best way to hold it so that?
I don't know. I don't know. Which
Oh, you
way.
don't have your specs?
I don't have my specs.
Oh, well, okay. We tried.
We got Marble Mountain, which is a familiar name. These are all pictures of just projects that we worked on throughout the country.
Now, when you did some of these projects, you say, was it salvaging or repairing bomb damage and that kind of stuff?
Mostly it was either
airstrips?
repair work or new work. These are just general pictures of the countryside, helicopters.
Now, when you went back, what was your opinion of how the countryside has changed? You know, Bill Nichols said it was a wonderful place in the Saigon Zoo, for example.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. People respected us. People talked to us. You know, did many things. I mean, the food. I lost 13 pounds in 15 days.
Wow.
But no, the people were great. But the country is beautiful. I mean, industrial park. We went to the Da Nang Industrial Park, and I've never seen an industrial park so nice.
Well laid out, well
laid
organized.
out. Cargill was there. Heineken had a beer plant there. That was nice. Heineken was 50 cents a bottle.
You sample it?
A couple.
Yeah.
But no, they've made great strides.
Okay. There's no animosity, if you will, towards the Americans?
I don't think so. I mean, of course, they're looking for the American person with the $100 bills is what they're looking for.
Oh? They didn't find you then?
They found us. But no, it was an interesting trip.
Okay. Trying to figure what's the best way to. You've answered my questions that I like to do, but in retrospect, you've said you highly recommend it. But is there any particular branch or training opportunity? Did you, for example, were you able to take a GI Bill training, anything like that?
No. When I got out of the service, we had a family business, and that's where I've been.
Okay. You want to mention the name of it so that those who don't know it can take a peek?
It's a 5th generation LP Adams company in Dalton, Mass.
Okay.
And we're in the 5th generation right now.
You're going to
Started
make
in
it.
1896.
Oh, good. And as you said earlier, business is getting better, we
Yep.
hope.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I think we can, right now, it's a little bit early, but we'll wrap this up because I don't want to try to show things that are uncomfortable or we can't really see. But again, we ask you folks, if you have a story, please come and share it, as he has done and many of the others. The more we know, the more we can find out, the better the picture will be for history for the kids and people coming after us. All I can say to you, sir, is I thank you. Press the flesh.
Thank you very
Come
much
and
for
see
having
us
me,
again.
Bob.
Amen.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a wrap. We'll see you soon.